Is a real driving test, and the candidate is going to fail on the reversing on the right hand side of the road, where she's going to come back a couple of car lengths and then rejoin the traffic. And I'm going to take you through what she's done really well, which was quite a lot, and what mistakes she's made in the meantime. So we're at the test centre here. Just going to play the video. We're at the test centre here, and we're getting ready to pull off. And the examiner has gone through the show me, tell me questions at this point, or well, the tell me questions. The show me is obviously on the road, but they're pulling away now. And this is where the driving test centre is. There's no car park here, but park on the road, and it's pulling away. We're in a 20 zone, and you can see this is where the 20 zone ends and the 30 zone begins, and you'll notice there's a slight increase in the speed. So she's seen that and spotted that, and she's complied with the speed limits there, so that's good. Although I'm sure she's not gone over the speed limit, clearly you can see that. She's going to be asked now to pull in and park on the left along here somewhere. So the examiner will say, find a safe and convenient place to pull in and park on the left, please. And so she's gone over the speed bump. She's not going to park on there. And she's going to find a nice place to park the car where it's not opposite a junction. There's no other cars parked on the opposite side, so that helps. And also it's not over a bit of dropped curb as well. So she's found a nice place to park here. What the examiner will say now is just drive on when it's safe to do so. And what he's looking at now is making sure that she will wait until there's a proper space, and that she'll check a blind spot before she moves, and then move off, at a fairly brisk pace, which is exactly what's gone on. So that's good. That's a good thing. She's got over that first exercise really within the test, and she's kind of settling herself in now. What happens here always from this test centre is you turn left just here. So she'll be aware of that, and she'll be ready for that. And here we go. We're going to turn left into this next road. You can see there's not much to concern herself with along this road. So she's doing all right. She's just settling herself down, settling herself in. I'm sure the examiner will appreciate that. She's getting rid of any kind of nerves that she may have at this point. This car in front of us is somebody else who's also on their driving test. So they've gone to the right, and I think we're going to go to the left. And this road is a fairly wide road, but because of the cars parked on both sides, it makes it quite narrow. And what she's going to be asked to do next is to pull in and park on the left. And here we are. And this is going to be the move away at an angle exercise. So what the examiner will be saying here now is this is the angled start exercise. Drive on when it's safe to do so. And well, she's just going to make sure again that the road is clear, and you can see that she's waiting for this other car, another learner car, because it's quite close to the test centre. And she's going to just pull away when it's safe to do so. She's getting a nice wide angle there, keeping well away from the parked car, centering herself on the road, and well, that's quite a nice little manoeuvre. So that must give her a little bit of confidence there that she's done 2 exercises now. They've gone all very, very well, and she can kind of really settle in and just give a nice drive. And that's all they're after, really. They're not after anything. They're not after perfection. They just want a nice, safe, and drive, really. I think we're going to turn here again. I say I think we're going to turn here again. Actually, I've watched this video a few times before I've started to do this commentary, so I knew already. So there's my little confession for the day. Another quite straight road, just hanging back a little bit, allowing the pedestrian to walk over. So again, nice little touch. That will be noted, that will be noticed by the examiner there as well. So that will put him in a good frame of mind. And she's building up a kind of perception of the way she's driving in a safe way. So, it's all looking quite good at the moment. This road, the junction is quite tight. And so she'll be careful here not to put the back wheel onto the curb. And so she'll move out before she goes round. And that will mean that the back wheel will miss the curb. So you won't see from the camera, you won't see any kind of joltiness. It will just be nice and smooth. And away you go. So everything's going very well. If you look at the speedometer at the bottom of the screen, you can see that maybe she could go a little bit brisker actually along here. Fairly straight road, no real problems, apart from the parked cars of course, but she is beginning to pick up a little bit of speed at the moment. And we're going to come to the end of this road I think soon. There you go, I said I think again. I obviously know, don't I? I'm not trying to be clever. It's just my figures of speech. You can see that she's moved into the right hand lane. So she's going to turn right at the roundabout here. Now the car ahead of us is not indicating. And that's probably because the lanes are marked to the right and to the left. But actually there's nothing physical to stop you from going either way. So an indicator, although again the car in front of the one in front of us as well is not indicating. Nobody seems to be here. And an indicator here would just kind of confirm your kind of position on the road. But yeah, it's debatable really. Anyway, we're going to wait for the lights to change to green, and then we're going to go forward and around. Now here on this junction, what we know about this is there's a yellow box junction, and so she's going to need to be sure that her exit's clear before she enters. And you'll see here she's done it at 8 miles and backed up to 9 and back to 8, just so that she could make sure it was clear, and it was. And now she's making progress. And actually the progress isn't really very quick, but then she's not losing the cars, or the cars in front of her are not losing her. So she's going at a speed that the rest of the traffic is going. And that would surprise some people really, that it's that slow, but that's what the traffic is doing. There is absolutely no point in going quicker than the car in front of you unless you're going to overtake them. And that you're not going to do that on this road. So actually she's maintaining a nice little gap in front of the car, giving herself lots of reaction time, and she's reacting now to the traffic queue forming at the roundabout. So that's very good as well, isn't it? That's intelligent driving really. So this roundabout here appears to be quite busy. There's a traffic queue that goes up to, through and beyond the roundabout there. So it looks like she might have to just filter in. And you can see that that's what's actually happening. There's a couple of cars coming there around the roundabout from the right, a couple more, and they are now just filtering in, going to take in alternative turns or alternate turns to move on to the roundabout itself. Car in front is moved in. There's another car and a bus is going to move in front of us. And so the candidate here now is taking her opportunity to be the next in line really to move forward. And that you won't find that in the highway code or in the driving books, but it's kind of an unwritten rule really. And you'll see it all over the country. So, it's kind of like you move in, one after the other. In taking alternate turns. But here we are, we're just going to follow this bus in. It's a little slow to move off, but she has kind of made a gap between her car, or my car as it is, and the vehicle in front, and that's good. There's another yellow box junction here. She's just making sure that she can clear it before she goes through it, and that's a nice little piece of driving there. That bus could have stopped or anything. Can't see in front of the bus, so something in front of the bus might have stopped, and then the bus stopped, and then you're on the grid then, aren't you? And you're stuck. So she made sure it was clear before she moved in. Another good piece of intelligent driving. So she's doing all right, really, isn't she? Candidate here. It's a shame, really, that she failed. I do say that on all of these videos, really, but that's it. It is a shame, actually, because she's a good driver. So here we are. The traffic lights have gone to red, pedestrian crossing. She stopped here a little bit back from the line, if you'll notice. So the line is quite away in front of the car. That's not a good thing, is it, really? Because the car behind will be expecting her to stop at the line, or just behind the line. And if you're a little way back from that, that might catch them out a little bit. So perhaps she could have got up to the line a bit more there. I don't know whether that will have been marked down on the test sheet, but it is something that I just noticed. She's staying in the left lane as she comes around the roundabout, and then she's moving off into the left lane as well, so that's very, very good. And she's on a one-way, or she's going to move into now a one-way system soon. So she's got a choice of 2 lanes. You can only go round to the left at this junction, and she's chose the left-hand lane to move round in. So again, very, very good. Absolutely ideal. If there are 2 lanes to choose from, always choose your left-hand option, because that's the safest one to be in. That's the first thing. And the second thing is, if you move, because you'll be in a natural position on the left. So if you move from the left lane to the right, you'll have changed lanes once. That's okay if you do it safe. And then when you get past the other side of the junction, you'll have to change lanes from the right again back into the left. So again, as long as you do it safely, it's not a problem, but you've given yourself 2 lots of work to do. You've made it 2 times more difficult, really. So just stay in the left lane, make it easy for yourself, and make it a safe drive as well. Just following the road around. Again, we're only doing 10 miles an hour, 10, 12. So maybe she could zip it up a little bit. That would be a little bit better. But she does need to be nice and cautious going into this bend here now. You can see all the cars are overtaking us. So that might be a thing there. The examiner, I think by now, will have marked that down, making progress. But I don't think this speed isn't slow enough to fail her. In fact, we know it isn't, because this is not what she failed on. But it might make the examiner think, well, she's been a bit too cautious, a bit too careful here. So you see there that she's changed lanes, and that would suggest that either the examiner said, you need to move over to the right-hand lane for the next bit, which sometimes they do, or she's following the sat-nav. For the A47, and that's going to take it around this next junction. Coming into that bend quite nicely. Now she needs to change lanes again, but what she's doing here, she's going to let this black, is it a taxi, whatever that is, 4x4, she's going to let that go, and then she's going to move over. So she's made a space for herself there on the road. And again, a nice little piece of intelligent driving. So again, in terms of positioning, very good. The car is not rattling around. You can't see it jumping or jerking. So she must be in the gear all the time that she needs to be in. She's getting everything right. And now we're getting the speed up a little bit again. So she's kind of settled in a bit more. she's going to turn left at this roundabout, and she's slowed right down to below 15 as you're approaching the mini roundabout, and she can see that she can't go yet, so she's just going to pause, and now she can see that she can go clear to the right, and away you go. Again, very, very good observations, so no real problems at this moment, really, not at all. Speed is now beginning to increase again, so she's becoming more confident about being on the test. And I think that's probably how it works for most people, a bit cautious, a bit too cautious at first, but then kind of settle themselves in. This is going to be the controlled stop, what most people will call emergency stop, but this is going to be the controlled stop. It's on a fairly busy road, but let's just see how far down the road they go and what kind of speed they go at when she's asked to do the actual stop. So here we go. So that was 17 miles an hour. So it's not that quick, is it? 17 miles an hour. And also it was only about 100 yards down the road. So that's how it normally is on the driving test, It's not this big thing, this big drama of a thing. It's just demonstrating that you can control the car to a nice quick stop in case someone had stepped off the pavement onto the road in front of the car. And so that was good. That's an easy pass on that part of it. So she's going through all the kind of exercises, all the kind of maneuvers quite well. And again, you can see that the speed is picking up, so she's gaining in confidence. But she's slowing down right down here to below 15 into the mini roundabout. Absolutely brilliant. Giving herself time to look to the right to see if it's going to be clear and safe for her to move on. Pretty good, all pretty good at the moment. So this next bit is another good piece of intelligent driving. So what's good about this? First of all, there's an obstacle on our side of the road and she's waiting for the cars to pass through before she can continue. But look at where she's waiting. She's waiting a long way back so that she can see clearly down the road, and when it is her turn, it's going to be easy then for her to move off and make her way around the obstacle. Now that is again a very nice, intelligent piece of driving. Everything about that was right. There's nothing wrong there. So, she's doing really well. And I'm sure the examiner at this point is thinking, well, if you could just pick your speed up a little bit, you'll pass this test really easy. But she does need to slow down now because there's another mini roundabout. And again, she's giving herself time to see before she enters or before she crosses the line. Observations at junctions, remember, are the number one reason people fail. And they have been for a long time, many years. And again, there's another mini roundabout here. And again, you'll see that she'll give herself just that time, that extra second, to make sure to her right that it's clear. Now here we're coming along here. It's a fairly busy, quick road, but she's going to be asked to pull in and park on the right hand side. And all of her good work that she's done so far is about to be undone, unfortunately. And well, it's just one of those. Like I always say in these videos, it's, sometimes the good drivers don't pass, just as much as the ones that are really struggling. It's just the way of the world, and that's how it is. But she's being asked to reverse back a couple of car lengths here. And what she's doing, she's waiting for the road to clear. So again, that's good. That's good. She's got herself prepared. The road is cleared. And now she'll do a 6-point check. And then she'll begin to reverse the car. And from my nagging and moaning and complaining at her, she'll have checked over both shoulders 3 times as she's moving back. Not just checked, but looked into the space over both shoulders 3 times. and then she'll bring the car to a stop and then move forward. That's what should happen. But she's seen here there's a car oncoming, and so she's stopped. Oh, she's not stopped yet. So she's going to stop there now. Okay, so she's doing exactly the right thing, but then she moves, and she moves again before the cars go by. And you can see that our car, the candidate's car, is moving whilst the other cars are going past her. I'm afraid that's a fail, and that's what she's failed on. At this point, there's something else that happens here, in that you'll see that again she's moving. There's still things coming past her, but the car is kind of moving at a strange angle, and she's steering, I think, there to come away from the curb. Did you see that little drop there as well? So she was on the curb and she's trying to get away from it. And of course that's put the back end of the car further into the road, further into the danger area. So that will be another fail on this thing. So I mean, she has failed, and the overall thing will be control and observation on the manoeuvre, on the reversing manoeuvre. But both were kind of lacking a little bit there, which is very strange because normally she's very good at that. I know I would say that, but it's true, she is. She's just trying to correct the position here now, and she should be able just to now drive forward when it's clear, when it's safe. But she hasn't done that. She's making a little bit of a big thing of this, and now she's just moved back a little bit again. So this is where she's failed, and she's failed because she was moving in reverse, and still cars were passing her. And what she should have done, of course, is just stopped, let everything go, and then moved on, and then started to reverse again. Completed the manoeuvre, doing that throughout, and then completing the manoeuvre, and then moving on from that. Unfortunately, that's not what's happened. And we'll see her now. She's going to move. You'll see in a few seconds that someone will flash their lights to let her out, and then she'll move on. So she's failed from observation, I would imagine, is the first thing, having still been moving whilst she's still been reversing whilst the cars are passing her, and also maybe control as well, because the car zigzagged a little bit there and it looked like she just clipped the curb. Anyway, there you go. So that's that test is now no longer active, and the examiner is going to work his way back to the test centre. In this case, they're already halfway around the route, so he's just followed the route back. So hopefully you found that useful, and well, I'll see you in the next video, and hopefully we can have a more positive end to it, more positive result. So cheers guys.